I'm Tanya, and this is all about narcissistic parents. I want to understand how a narcissistic parent has affected us. That's why I'm making this video, so that I can look back and remind myself of the facts, because it takes this level of awareness of kind of acknowledging that your parent is an asshole and owning that, accepting it, setting boundaries, and then looking for it elsewhere. Having a narcissistic parent means that we don't come first, and we never have. Even as little children, we were not their priority. We were a reflection or extension of them. Their needs, their egos, their feelings come first before anybody else's. Their moods are going to dictate everybody's day. Right? So a narcissistic parent, their mood takes over the entire house, and they feel entitled to that, right? Because their feelings are so important to them. They think everybody else needs to feel them and acknowledge them too. Your opinions don't matter. Your truth does not matter. You are here for me as a parent. Like, I'm the parent. You exist to serve my needs. That's why I had you. To them, that's almost logical. Sometimes we're actually told that we are the problem. They're sadistic. They do not have genuine feelings for other people. They'll say whatever the hell they want. It could cut down right through someone, right in front of them. And inside, they're saying, good. Yeah, you feel that pain. It's like gratifying for them somehow. Maybe you were told you were bad, incapable, ungrateful. Maybe you were even told that you were doing things intentionally that you absolutely were not doing intentionally. All of us might be those things at different points in our lives. I'm sure there have been many times where I've been ungrateful without realizing it. But that doesn't make it true all the time. And it doesn't mean that someone else gets to call us all those things as though it's true all the time, especially if they're not looking at themselves, because it's human. They'll find things in their lives, going wrong in their lives, and they will blame us as kids for it. Nothing ever just goes off without a hitch. Things don't just run smoothly. There's always going to be something. Always. And it's always someone else's fault, of course. By making us out to be the problem, it gives them this like ongoing, like slot machine that's broken. They just get to like keep getting this payout from us, so they can bring it up as leverage, and they will bring it up for years sometimes if they're not making things up on top of that they also bring up for years. No wonder we have issues as adults, right? It wears on you. How could it not? It would wear on any person to be raised in that environment from their parent who they believe should know them best. And this person's telling them that they're broken, that something's wrong with them. It is so damaging. We're basically living in like a circus tent with funhouse mirrors everywhere that are set by the narcissist. You're out there juggling flames and swords and lions, and they're just ready to see it all break. I mean, even if it means accepting blame for something that we didn't do, I feel that children of narcissists are kind of ready to do that, because once things get out of control, it feels so unpredictable and freaky. Uh, of course, we're trying to like tamp down the excitement.
Like, everybody calm the fuck down. Everybody sit down, shut up. Mom's coming home. Don't fuck this up for everybody.
If you see this in your home, yeah, you have a narcissist in the house. Everybody's watching out for. Because when you look at the alternative and you look at a healthy person and what they do, and realizing that they're just one of many people in a household, that their emotions are one of many people in a household, we don't act that way, right? How deeply is this affecting us as adults? If we're always conditioned to sacrifice and give and bend and break ourselves to keep peace or to keep someone else's emotional regulation going, how do we then break through that for other relationships in our lives? It's really hard to do. So we start to look at other places in our lives where we might be taking responsibility for things that aren't ours. So at work, in social groups, right, in your current family, are we still taking that position of this must be me, or I'm the one that has to fix this because someone else is upset and can't regulate and handle their own emotions and reactions or take responsibility for things? I think it does play out if we're not careful, because again, we're trained very early on to automatically assume that we're the bad guy. It's our fault, not theirs, is what they often decide. And that we don't necessarily deserve good things. We don't deserve success, especially if it puts us above the narcissist in some way. I feel that that is programmed into us really early on as well. Don't ever assume to be better than the narcissist. And if you do, you better not say it out loud. Shit's going to go down, south, bad real fast. Their opinions of me were just conveniently placed on me. They weren't based on who I was. And it's probably true for a lot of us. Like, are we having fun yet? Not really. Not really. Like, this sucks. I don't know about you, but I am so ready to feel free from all of this BS. And I'm training myself to laugh about it because they're so predictable. They're like characters of themselves. And it's like legit insane, some of the shit they say that they think is legitimate. We deserve our own identity. We deserve our own opinions and decisions. Not only that, but when we make mistakes, which we all do, nobody else gets to tell us what is a mistake for us. It is nobody else's place to say, "Oh, you screwed up. Oh, you better do it this way, or you should have done this." Who the fuck are you? You're not living my life. If someone is eager to tell you that you've screwed up and how you should learn from it, but they're not necessarily an expert on the subject, question that. Don't take that in. Don't absorb that. We don't have to listen to everybody around us, including our parents. It's the beauty of being an adult. And those mistakes, nobody can tell us how to suffer from them or how to learn from them. We all make them, but again, it's up to the person to figure out what it means for themselves. This is something a narcissist never has a chance to do because they never take responsibility for anything. I think a lot of us, though, that grew up with narcissistic parents don't even know what this level of like optimism and confidence actually looks like for ourselves. Like, we don't even realize how it affects us in every decision, every hour of our lives, probably. You are already light years ahead of your narcissistic parent, and you're going to grow. They're never going to grow. You're like the plant, and they're like the freaking brick around the plant. That brick's never changing. It's just going to rot there. It's still going to try to like do its damn best to contain the plant and stop it from getting out of control, right? But the plant's going to grow up and over that brick and say, "See you later. I'm out." And that is where we're at. We don't have to be surrounded by those bricks anymore because they're never going to change. Set them over in the corner. Picturing ourselves as young children in these households, replaying those conversations, that is where the healing actually comes from for me, because I can then say, "Oh, wait, that's a really weird thing to pin on your 11-year-old child. That's a really weird thing to hold on to for years and years and years when everybody makes mistakes," right? Once we start to dig through it and call out the bullshit, the logic of it starts to break down more and more as we get older. I was like a placeholder for their baggage. Once someone is shown to be a narcissist, you have the right and the personal duty to yourself to make some changes. It's also a pretty big invitation in my mind to go back and question every opinion, statement, decision, assumption, everything they've ever said to me. That feels reasonable because now I know who they are. Now I know what they're capable of. I go back and look through all of these memories from my childhood, and it is like every single one can be kind of a painful revelation to be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I carried this for so long," when it was so clear that they were just looking for a quick fix. It empowers us to not let it run things behind the scenes in our mind. Anyone who expects unconditional loyalty through their own bad behavior does not deserve your consideration. If that person hasn't turned around and said, "How are you doing through all this? What can I do to make your life better? How have I affected you?" Why? Why would we give them any time? Because we all affect each other. That's part of being a human. But for people who just absolutely claim to have zero responsibility, okay, I don't know you shit, because you're not even willing to see things. You're walking around with like weird blacked out glasses on trying to like tell me what is around us, and I'm going, that's not what's going on here. I don't get it. You're not looking at the world through the same lens that I am, narcissist. And so your opinions and decisions probably aren't valid to me anymore, because you're never going to get that same generosity and consideration back from a narcissist. Not unless there's something else for them to gain. If they suddenly are being generous and kind, look around, because there's going to be some other motivation. There's going to be some other angle that they're pulling. We are built to take on the emotional responsibility of other people, and it's so twisted and unreal. Like, we can't do that. Why should we have to do that? No, I don't know about you, but I refuse to keep letting this ridiculous soundtrack play in my head, telling me who I am, what I feel, what I deserve, what I don't deserve. I don't share much about myself ever to anybody, really. Very few people in my life have any idea about this kind of stuff because I just don't talk about myself. And I think it comes from that level of self protection where you're like, no, if I talk about myself, someone's going to find something and they're going to use it against me. Even if it's totally benign, it's going to be twisted around. It's going to be used against me. I'm not sharing shit. I mean, it is kind of sad. Like, we're social people, we're social creatures. And to have this like wall built up early on that says, like, no, 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 you can't trust that. You can't be a part of a group. Someone's going to fuck you over. That sucks. That sucks. Thanks, parent. I want to stay mad at these things because it helps me reinforce the decisions that I've made to get rid of those people in my life. It never turns out well. Those words, phrases, assumptions, that narrative that plays in our mind, that was not made for us. And that is something that took me a long time to realize that tape, that narrative was made for a narcissist's ego. It was made for them to protect themselves. That's what a narcissist is doing. They've created a storyline that supports their belief in themselves or supports their insecurities somehow. And they've placed it as fact, and we've accepted that because we were kids. That was a generic tape made for someone to make the narcissist feel better. It was not about you. It was never about you. The tape was made for them, for their benefit. And they were happy to keep playing it, of course, and they always will. They will always play that tape. It's like nostalgic for them now. That tape could be the stories that they bring up about you, whether they were true or not. That tape is what they've made to protect themselves. That shit's not ours. We don't have to listen to that at all. I'm not going to go buy propaganda tapes from North Korea and listen to them either. They're not about me. They're not for me. They were made for somebody else. Because their primary motivation is self-protection, self-preservation. They want to feel so good about themselves. And they will take down anybody they need to feel good about themselves. They'll burn any bridge, and then they'll expect everybody else to build it back up again. I mean, it's chaos. It's absolute crazy town. We have to see it as crazy town so that we can then minimize the control it has over our lives. If I see my narcissistic parent as an angry cartoon toddler throwing a tantrum and looking for attention, A, becomes much funnier. And B, like, it's really hard for me to take that seriously and to be like, oh yeah, that person knows what they're talking about. They know me really well. I should definitely listen to that tape they made for me all that time ago. Nope. It allows me to discard so much of the BS. I've held on to my own lessons from my own mistakes. I'm not perfect by any means, but I get to decide those. Anybody who's going to put me down and use those mistakes as leverage can get the fuck out. As long as we know what to expect, which is definitely chaos, drama, negativity, it all becomes very predictable, actually. And remember this, a narcissist never forgets unless it's their fault. Their whole life, narcissists' whole lives are games of king of the hill. They're just pushing everybody else off. They just want to maintain that one spot at the top. There's no room for two in their mind. There is no plateau upon which everybody can join in. If you were raised by a narcissist or two, and I'd love to hear from you guys. I hope this helps. I hope this serves as a reminder to somebody besides myself. Healthy people are okay with boundaries because they know that when they need to set them, they want them to be respected too. And we've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about how it all affected us.